the Pro Bowl rosters were announced, which means snubs. Everyone's favorite. Back when we were at PFF, when I was at PFF, that was like the article that got like the most clicks of any article during this time span was who should have made it that didn't make it. We're going to put the rosters up for you guys on the screen right now to go through them. I'm not going to go through every position. Some notables, no Pat Mahomes making it on the AFC side, but obviously like loaded positional there at QB in the AFC with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson making it. No Baker Mayfield on the NFC side, but that one maybe a little bit more arguable.
That's criminal.
It's made it.
Is it criminal though?
Yeah, it's Baker Mayfield. You make a spot for him, okay? You just however many spots you have, if Baker Mayfield
I would say
those spots, then you just put Baker Mayfield in there.
Well, hopefully one of those quarterbacks is going to the Super Bowl and he gets in.
Yeah, that's I remember that happening.
Or he would want to go to the Super Bowl.
I remember every year it's like Andy Dalton would show up 20 minutes before practice, like he just landed. And in fact, he did just land because all these other quarterbacks would opt out. It was like Brady's not here, Manning's not here, but it's like who's going to come? It was Tyrod Taylor, it was Andy Dalton, it was Trubisky.
Yeah,
a lot of that. But hey, you said no Mahomes. You said no Mahomes.
Yes,
Tooney, Humphrey, Smith.
Yep.
Okay. We talked about it all year. And it was initially the left guard, the center, and the right guard. Now it's the right guard, the center, and the left tackle. And I wonder if they're going to give Joe Tooney some snaps out there at the left tackle spot.
Well, you're hoping he doesn't have to play in there, right? At this point. But
that's true.
Who in your opinion, was the biggest snub that you thought got left off this list?
I'll start. I thought Bobby Wagner. Now, we talked about this before we came online. I'm so glad Zack Baun got in because usually when it comes to the Pro Bowl, the year you actually make it is from the previous year of what you've done. Like they literally make you usually wait in line a year before you actually get into the Pro Bowl. But I'm glad the voters got this one right because he has been out of this world. He has stabilized that defense at a position where they really haven't had any continuity, probably going back the last 3 or 4 years, right? It's been a turnstile in regards to who's been their middle inside linebacker, and Zack Baun has kind of really brought that together. I mean, he essentially was brought in to be a special teams type guy, right? And so you love stories like that, a guy that was essentially brought in to be a special teams guy. He's found a role. He's been the leader on that defense, and he's led one of the best defenses in football. So I would say I'm glad to see him, but I thought Bobby Wagner for what he's done this year, a Commanders team that a lot of people didn't see going to the playoffs. And yes, Jaden Daniels has a lot to do with that. But if you turn on the actual tape and see Bobby Wagner play, it's like he found the fountain youth again, which is ridiculous at this year. I think he's like in year 12 or 13 or something ridiculous like that. Also, we were having another candid conversation. Something needs to be done in regards to the outside linebacking position, like the true outside linebackers in a 4-3, because essentially you're getting 6 edge guys in the Pro Bowl, right? Because when you look at all the outside linebackers, they're all edge guys, right? So like on the AFC side is Nick Bonito, right? Khalil Mack and TJ Watt. Those are essentially edge guys, right? They're not traditional 4-3 outside linebackers. Then on the NFC side, Jonathan Grenard. Now, Van Ginkel is a guy that has the versatility
the closest
to play
one.
Inside and outside. Correct. And then Jared Verse is a traditional edge guy. So it's just like guys like Frankie Louvu get snubbed every year. And I thought he should be in some consideration to go to the Pro Bowl. So I don't know if we go back to doing it like they did that 1 year, Kyle, where one team's a 3-4 team and the other team's a 4-3 team. That way the traditional outside linebackers in a 4-3 don't get shafted.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. I mean, there's an unspoken for group of individuals that play in the National Football League that do it at an extremely high level. Our defensive ends, are they edge guys? Because some of these guys are playing 4-eye. Some of these guys are kicking down to 3 at times when asked. I would argue that position is more tough than just going out there in a 2-point stance and just being a freak athlete play after play after play. And I heard Will Campbell talk about it this week from LSU. Yeah. He said, look, if you are an edge rusher and you make one play a game, you are going to the Pro Bowl. If you are, you could make 7 plays as a defensive end in that defense you're talking about, and they might not be very sexy. It could be a beating a double team, making a play on run your way, chasing down a play backside, beating a B block or a C block. And this stuff goes unheralded, but unfortunately in our league, which is offensive driven, quarterback driven, points driven, people want to see guys stop that from happening. And what's the easiest way to do that as a defensive player? Go get after the quarterback. So obviously they're going to reward those players at a higher rate. But you and I both know, and Mike knows, there's a lot more going on there. There are more pieces of the machine happening than just, the edge rush.
Yeah, and this is something that everyone has known has been a problem for like a decade plus, that a 3-4 outside linebacker and a 4-3 defensive end are essentially playing the same position in more often.
Correct.
Like you're not all of a sudden just saying, oh, this 3-4 outside linebacker, let's put him as a 4-3 outside linebacker. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes there's some overlap, but truly the guys who play off the edge, they rush the passer, is a completely different role than the guys who play off ball. There's an off ball and an edge designation. We did it for years at PFF. The All-Pro finally came around to making that clear, I think a handful of years ago. It's time that the Pro Bowl catches up. It's like freaking 2024. We don't have to keep doing this because, like you said, 6 edge guys make it compared to 2 off-ball linebackers. So if you're an off-ball linebacker, you just ain't going to be making Pro Bowls.
You got no shot.
I got a question for you guys, though, about the actual Pro Bowl. Because when I finished being a good, healthy player, we finished the Pro Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona, in Glendale, wherever the hell it was, in the state of Arizona. We did Hawaii for a few years, then we did Arizona, and then it moved to Orlando, and then it became a Pro Bowl games type deal. When I was playing it, I remember like I had to tape my ankles, tape my wrists, get my thumb guards on because JJ Watt was coming. I go and watch these Pro Bowl games now or historically, and we kind of got the sense that these guys were out there as kind of an exhibition, a fun exhibition. And I totally understand that. You don't want to see guys get hurt. I think it was Tyler Eifert that got hurt really bad. Mike, you may remember that. Tyler Eifert got hurt really bad. I separated. These 3 knuckles were laying on my hand this way in the Pro Bowl one year because I shot my inside hand. I got an inside move from a 3-tech, and then the center came and crushed the 3 technique that crossed my face, and these 3 fingers went backwards. And I was like, I don't even know why I'm out here playing. Like, this is going to affect me in minicamp and training camp, and clearly it'll affect me in the season. Are you glad that they are having all these activities that are open to the public? Do you think that's more suitable for this thing? Quarterback accuracy competitions, dodgeball. I want to see fat guys catch the football. That's the kind of stuff I want. I want to see the personalities because it's not like we're the NBA with the helmets off where people get to see our interactions. We need cameras in every huddle, in every group of people. It needs to be like Hard Knock style production. I feel like fans deserve to get to know these football players more as people.
100%. And I do think the shift is necessary because of just the nature of the game, right? It's not, you cannot, after asking players to play 18 weeks and then some of these guys a couple more in the postseason and then come to this game and ask them to even try
and doing it injured football, right? In large part. Nobody's healthy at this thing.
It's like if they had it at the beginning of the season, it'd be a little bit different. Like maybe you'd get a little more juice there, but it's the end of the season. These guys, they want the vacation. They don't want to get their bell rung again. They don't want to risk anything, right? You don't want to be the punter getting hit by Sean Taylor on the sideline. You just don't want to at that point in time. So yeah, I think anyone who watched the game the last few years that they still had it was just like, this is not worth tuning into. So yeah, I do think there's even more room for creativity from the NFL, and I do think they're trying. Because it is still like you do want to showcase the fact that these guys are unbelievable talents at their respective positions, that they can do things that no other human being on the planet can do. So the more you can lean into that, the more you'll probably get out of your.
I have an idea, Mike.
Yeah,
it just hit me. You've got these guys there for a week. Their families are there. Obviously, family and extended family, friends come to the Pro Bowl, particularly the fact that it's stateside. Now it's in Florida. A ton of guys are from Florida, Texas, East Coast. You can have so you're going to have childcare there. If you got kids, you got help with childcare. Your wives, girlfriends, whatever, they're going to have a good time. There's a lot of stuff to do, family events. They should just do a Survivor style imagine AFC versus NFC and Survivor with your favorite NFL players for a week. You get a week
reality
to do
show.
it. You could live stream it. I've been watching the Barstool Survivor series, which has been a lot of fun, and so many personalities you didn't realize existed. I think there will be stars made every year in a non-football sense at the Pro Bowl if the NFL were to take a page out of some of these books and just say, hey, we've got the most sought-after celebrities in sport, and people still don't know these guys very well. It's an opportunity to get to know these players so much more. I mean, we saw a guy, I'll shout out Adrian Colbert, who's a safety. He went on Hard Knocks. He's not an all-pro. He's not a Pro Bowler, but he went on Hard Knocks, and people want to know more about this guy. He becomes wildly popular. How many of those dudes, how many of those situations would come about if we had some sort of challenge that was off the field for the players? I think it would be a lot of fun.
I do like that idea, actually. And that's
That
like
is
the way
very interesting.
That's the way that they're going with the in-season Hard Knocks and whatever, is to try to pull back the curtain as much as possible. I do think you'll see the Pro Bowl go that route as well. My biggest snub, though, I got two. One, the league leader in interceptions, Kirby Joseph.
What?
Doesn't make it. Buda Baker, great player. He has not been the same sort of playmaker as Kirby Joseph. And I know you already put his teammate Brian Branch in there, but like, they both deserve it. They're the guys holding this thing together, right, on the back end. So
100%.
Him making it, I think, should have. And then I'm going to go deep. Special teamer in the NFC, Kadarrell Hodge. Excuse me. The guy has 5 tackles on special teams all year long. Nick Bellore, Commanders legend. 21 tackles, leads the NFL right now. Doesn't even make it.
Wow.
Just legend.
Last year's Pro Bowler, too. He deserved it. In my opinion.
Here's why Kirby Joseph's not on the list.
Yeah, he's a multiple.
Kirby Joseph, great player. I'm sure I would love the guy as a teammate. Let me just preface with saying this. He took out like 3 Pro Bowlers last year. Okay.
Talking about tight ends.
They're getting their boo back. Okay. The committee is like, hey, Kirby, we love the way you play. You're fantastic. You're the glue on the back end of that defense, but we're going to need you to stop destroying people's lower halves. Okay.
Tell him to change the rules, Kyle. That man not trying to get fined.
I'm going to get killed for
change
that.
The rules.
Sorry, Kirby.
People don't want to go over the field against the Lions.
Nah, it's to Mike's point. It's utterly ridiculous because I think Kirby Joseph and Branch deserve to both be on the All-Pro team. And they most likely will be. And like Xavier McKinney, I'm not mad at that either because I think he deserves to be a Pro Bowler. But those should have been the 3 guys. And I know on the thing traditionally, I think you get 2 strong safeties and 1 free safety. But I think this year should have been 2 free safeties and 1 strong safety because Kirby Joseph, there's no way you lead the league in interceptions. And people can keep talking about this Detroit defense and how they're giving up 32 points a game in December. But you know what? The one thing they have been is opportunistic. Kirby Joseph literally put the team on his back versus the San Francisco 49ers with 2 interceptions that essentially swung the game in their favor. So it's like, dude, how is this dude, again, leading the lead in interceptions? And even going into that game, I think he was tied for the league in interceptions. So it's like, you can't say he just got those 2 interceptions and that's why he's leading the league. No, he's been doing it for most of the season. Like, the dude should have been a Pro Bowler. And then there's another one on there that I saw that to me didn't make any sense. But I thought Kobe Turner and Zach Allen got snubbed. I thought both of those guys should have got in. Dexter Lawrence has missed a good portion of this year. And he's a heck of a player when he was playing, but you can't miss that many games and be a Pro Bowler. Like, again, this is the argument we go back and forth with, Kyle, with, are people actually watching the film, right? Because Kobe Turner, people kept saying, well, when Aaron Donald leaves, it'll be interesting to see what he does. All he does is go out there.
He's a young AD.
All he does is go out there and put up 8 sacks and is dominated in the run game. And people were saying, he's undersized, he's too small. And I kept telling people, when I watched the film at Richmond, when I watched it at Wake Forest, I was like, this guy can go. He is going to be a really good player. But everybody went back to his measurables, and all he continues to do is create havoc in the backfield. So I thought him and Zach Allen should have definitely been in the Pro Bowl this year. Love Nnamdi Madubuike, but I thought Zach Allen had a better season than him.
Yeah, he had a down year.
Hey,
Dexter Lawrence, 12 games.
When we talk about these snubs, so you brought up a great point. Kirby Joseph should be an All-Pro, and we all agree there. And he's going to miss the Pro Bowl. I'm good friends with a gentleman named Mitch Schwartz, who you guys may have heard of. He is the PFF poster child. The guy, they rewrote the scale offensively for this guy because he was so damn good and efficient at the right tackle position. He was never a Pro Bowler, but he was, if you look at the tape, if you look at the numbies, he was the guy. That's the Kirby Joseph situation here is with Mitch Schwartz. He addresses me as Pro Bowler smugly in text messages because he never made one, and he's so pissed at me about it. But guys in the locker room understand who the best players are. And more often than not, you don't get that representation in the Pro Bowl. So for people that were snubbed, people that feel like they were slighted because of this list, just you grit your teeth, you put your mouth guard in, grit your teeth and go do it again, because I promise you they're going to pay you regardless. I mean, does Pro Bowl and All Pro help with popularity? Does it help with getting you on a desk on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football? Sure. But I'll tell you what, when you lay your head on the pillow, you're not going to regret all the work you've done as a football player, and it bleeds in, it carries over to the next year. So for guys like Kirby Joseph and Mitch Schwartz, Super Bowl champ Mitch Schwartz, all pro every year, Mitch Schwartz, you're going to be okay. All right. Things are going to be okay for you.
Schwartz, 4-time all pro, 3 second teams, 1 first team, 0 Pro Bowls.
Unbelievably criminal there.
And it shows you how much fan voting sways Pro Bowl voting when it's not. That's obviously removed for the all pro. It's all media. But I do think the all pro, just over the past decade or so, they do a much better job. And that's why they've revised the process, changed the positional designations to make it more reflective of what's going on the football field. So Pro Bowls are fun. All pros a little bit more meaningful, in my opinion.
You're not going to complain. You're not going to complain if you get a Pro Bowl. But if somebody said, would you rather have an all pro or a Pro Bowl? We'd all raise our hand for all pro.
All pro.